Hey guys, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. As always, it's much appreciated. So, let's get right to tonight's question, which is from Nick. He says, "Hey Mark, I love the content on your channel. I was wondering if you could do a video about the use of the word faggot within the gay community, as well as why some gay men feel the need to be called a faggot by the straight alpha type. I'd love your insight and opinion on the issue." All right, Nick, well, I have to say, I absolutely detest that word. I don't even like saying it. I don't like any derivative of the word. It is one of those things that I have a viscerally negative reaction to it. And it really doesn't matter the circumstance or situation that it's said in. I don't care whether it's two friends saying it in jest. I don't care if it's two people saying it as part of some sexual role play or fantasy, or whether it is said with the intent to be hurtful. I just don't like hearing it. That said, obviously, intent matters. There's a big difference between two friends saying it in jest versus some, crazy evangelical conservative saying it to someone. Intent is the only real objective way we can judge these things. But, regardless, I really, really dislike it. As a matter of fact, when I was younger, I had quite a few fights because of that word. As I've gotten older and hopefully wiser, I don't think, I know I don't react as volatilely to hearing it. Although I guess it would depend on just who said it to me. But I digress. You don't want to get into fights over that stuff. I have a very hard time hearing words like that and divorcing the history and legacy of that word from whatever the current situational standards of acceptance that we're trying to apply to it happen to be. When I hear that word, I think about all the men who have been and continue to be harassed and bullied and assaulted and beaten, and in some cases killed while they've had that word hurled at them. So that's something I have a hard time getting over, regardless of what context it's used in. It does bring up an interesting debate about whether or not any group of people or a particular community that has been the recipient of one of these vile slurs can take that word, make it their own, and for all intents and purposes neuter it. That would be a very lengthy conversation and debate to have, which I'm not going to do right now. There'd be too much ground to cover. But just kind of as a quick summary, I agree with that in principle. That doesn't change the fact that there are a lot of those words I don't like, but I agree with the logic of the people making that particular argument. Now, as to why why some gay men feel the need to be called that by the straight alpha type, well, there could be several reasons. We all have friends, or some of you out there, who happen to be really into the idea of seducing and hooking up with a straight guy, or just getting roughed up and pounded silly by the straight guy. You know who you are. Some of you watching this right now have that very, very fantasy. But the idea of having that guy use that word towards you kind of just legitimizes the idea that, yes, and cements the fantasy, which is he's really straight, he's super macho. So it's not that they have any desire to be degraded or demeaned. It's more about just kind of really, really legitimizing the guy as straight. It just furthers their fantasy. You also do have people that in the course of whatever sexual encounter they're having, they enjoy a little bit of degrading and demeaning and humiliation. So of course that word fits the bill. That's what it's intended to do when it's said with actual malice. So I can see how somebody who gets off on being degraded would like being called that. And then you have people who, to take that line of thought a little bit further, you have people that really are dealing with some internalized homophobia or some sense of self-loathing that's manifesting itself in their sex life. And look, I can tell you, as somebody who has a lot of experience in the sexual arena, you would be shocked at the number of issues that people deal with, both consciously and sometimes deeply repressed issues that end up manifesting in their sexual experiences. So, this could very easily be one of those cases as well. It just depends on the person. But it's an interesting question, Nick. Guys, if you'd like to share your perspective, please do so in the comments section below. And again, I want to thank you for watching. And if you're not already a subscriber to my channel, I would really, really appreciate it if you would click that little subscribe button. So, until I talk to you next time, I hope you guys continue to be well.